Folks, the last time we chatted, I said that I wanted to do a video to... Oh, I'll never get straightened out. The last time we chatted, I said I wanted to do a video to kind of tie up the September eclipses. I mean, till last week, we had Venus conjuncting the South Node, Venus from Virgo, where we had the last solar eclipse. So we're under the influence of the solar eclipse that occurred on September the 21st of this year, and that has a corresponding lunar eclipse on March the 3rd of next year. So between September 21st and March the 3rd, the prevailing solar eclipse, this prevailing eclipse energy is the South Node eclipses in Virgo, the solar eclipse in Virgo on September the 21st and the lunar eclipse on March the 3rd. And Venus on Saturday, a couple of days from today, is going to oppose Saturn, and then 2 days later, actually Venus is going to oppose Saturn. That's the only thing we count. So Venus is still going through the sign of Virgo, where we had that South Node eclipse. We're done, and I'm sure you can feel it on a day-to-day basis. We're now on the other side of the eclipses. The tumultuous, intense, cage-rattling energy with regard to change, tectonic plate shifting energy, the feeling that something was imminent, that kind of eclipsy energy, and in certain cases, really, things coming through that would have had an eclipsy nature, is now behind us, and things hopefully feel more even keel for you. I'm not saying they feel necessarily happier or more content. And what happiness is and contentment is, that is not a discussion we're going to be going into now. But the eclipse energy is now behind us, and I wanted to, some of what I'm going to share in this video I have shared before, but there's one thing that I want to bring up that is new for what we've been talking about, and that is, for some people, the eclipses will bring eclipsy events, some sort of an event, and it doesn't have to be negative. It can be an offer, it can be a booking, it can be a job, it can be something that creates a disruption to move you along in a direction that you need to, and release something where you need to release it. So you could, some of us, the eclipses could have really behaved in an eclipsy way and created disruptive change, exciting, indicative of the direction we're to move in, even more in September, indicative of what it is that we need to release in the Virgo part of the chart. And as I've said to you before, what we need to release in the Virgo part of the chart, the house occupied by the sign of Virgo in our chart, with the South Node eclipses going through that part of the chart, and the Virgo Pisces eclipses, the time range for those are the middle of July of 2024 to February 27. During that time, there's something in the Virgo part of the chart we need to release, something we're attached to, something that is a security blanket, something that may be providing us with security and even a certain amount of financial stability, etc. But we know is either on its way out or energetically not a place of fulfillment. And so we're seeking to replace it. And there sometimes is an understanding that it's not gonna, your solutions for growth and really the kind of abundance that you really are looking to create is not gonna come from whatever it is. So there's something, I very often, when it comes to the South Node, I equate it archetypally to that job that you can do relatively easily, strangely enough, even mysteriously enough, that comes to you relatively easily and provides a certain amount of security and taps into certain inbuilt strengths. And I'm not saying that it has to be easy, and I'm not saying that everybody else can do it. You can do it. But it's not fulfilling. It feels like a waste of time. But it does become something that you can lean into, provide a certain amount of security, and that security can help fuel you, fund you, to move towards what you want. But at some point, what you're trying to create has to take priority. And then this old can, as I've said to you before, can atrophy and at the right time fall apart. And sometimes releasing what we need to release in the Virgo part of the chart can be a gradual thing. I'm working on something 40 hours a week. Then I decide I want to work on it 30 hours a week and put 10 hours a week into what I'm trying to create. Then 25. And at some point, as I'm increasing, putting my focus on what it is that I'm trying to create, conversations need to happen with regard to, am I dropping this off entirely now, the old, or am I reducing my hours more and more gradually so that it can drop off at a certain time? For some people, a month like September could bring dramatic change, an offer, a layoff, a job loss that creates a disruption, that propels you in the direction, that creates the opportunity, the portal to propel you in a certain direction and to leave a certain other direction behind, the old behind. Sometimes, and this is my caution, because I want you to be open to it, it could just mean that something that really had a hold on you and that was an energy leak is disrupted. And you may not go 100% into what it is that you're moving towards. You may still stay in that realm that you're looking to release, maybe by February 2027. But whatever it is that you take on leaves you more energetic and emotional space to pursue what it is that you're trying to pursue. What I really want to convey to you in this video is that the North Node, which indicates what you're trying to move towards and what you're hoping can happen or will happen, or what you can have time to work towards, and the North Node eclipses, and the eclipses in general in a month like September, could bring opportunities that feel very exciting and disruptive, but sometimes may not pan out and may not come through in a way that makes sense. And just because something is coming to you during the eclipses doesn't mean that it is absolutely the thing that you need to take. I read somewhere recently, and this phrase encapsulated how I feel about this very, very well. I wish I could remember where I read it so I could give appropriate credit for it, but it's not coming from me. And they said something to the extent that the North Node likes to create shortcuts. It's a little bit very much like this Fool card. Like, I am going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to jump off this cliff, and the opportunity is here, and I'm going to release the old. The caution I have, I think that with the eclipses, what happened in September is more useful as a powerful indicator of what you need to move towards and continue to move towards, and what you need to release. I've always said with the eclipses, do it in a grounded manner. Now I've started to say in my readings, follow the North Node because you will feel compelled to, and that is where your growth lies. Release what is in the South Node, but do it in a Saturnian manner. Make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed when it comes to your financial security and your emotional security. If you have an adventurous spirit and you don't care if you're going to be spending a year or two sleeping on someone's couch, then you can lean into that North Node, chasing the mirage, chasing the dream energy. And we all, why are we here if not to pursue goals or things that make us hungry and that create a certain kind of desire and that feel right? I mean, after all, if I think about the North Node, I think about calling and I think about purpose. And what is a calling other than a constant knock on your heart? And what are you going to do? Just ignore it because it could be delusional, or because it is forcing you to move in a direction where you don't have inbuilt experience already? I think that it's very, very difficult to ignore the North Node. I think that especially, as I've said to you before, and I continue to see, and I will keep seeing this until I see evidence otherwise in my readings, people who don't honor their North Node in a grounded Saturnian manner have a less fulfilled second half of life than those who do. And the thing with a month like September, and this is for those of you especially, which might be the vast majority, who feel like something was imminent, something was coming up, I was waiting for this to come through, or something that did come through and it was just like this, or it could be a dare. Another astrologer once said to me that the North Node promises more than it delivers. And I think that's fair. The North Node has to promise more than it delivers. There has to be a carrot at the end of the stick, and that carrot has to look a certain way to us for us to really have the energy to pursue it. The actual reality of what it actually means to be a sculptor, to be a sports person, to be an actor, to be a doctor, if that's what you want to be, or to do a certain kind of, be a farmer, if that is what you're being called to do, is much more complicated and grittier than anything that you could possibly imagine archetypally. You may even understand it rationally, but to experience that grittiness, that messiness, that risk, that danger even sometimes, is entirely its own thing and not something I find that a lot of us can escape. That's where the learning is. Nowhere is the saying that it's all about the journey more relevant than it is with the eclipses, and particularly the North Node. It is all about the journey. It is in the pursuit and moving in the direction of your calling that you really understand yourself, that the stakes are high enough that you actually work on yourself to change self-sabotaging behaviors and lean into and try and get the experience that you're trying to get. And part of that experience is disappointment, because disappointment and discontent can fuel us, and the desire to get a certain thing or move in a certain direction, if we use it in a healthy way, can grow us. So, for those of you for whom September brought eclipse opportunities, there are schools of astrological thought that just say that when the eclipses are happening, just lie low, do nothing, accept nothing. And I think part of the reason why they say that is that sometimes when things come to us or they promise us something from an eclipse perspective, rather than us seeing it either as a powerful sign of what we need to move towards and introducing a powerful question, particularly when the South Node eclipses are involved with a solar eclipse, as they were in September, on September the 21st, heading to the 21st and after that, the week, the second half of September particularly. The eclipses are giving also a very powerful message of what we really need to release and what is in the way of moving in the direction that we want to move in. The actual opportunities may not materialize, may be shiny, or if they materialize and you take them, the thing you have to always be careful with the North Node is that it does not lead to material loss for you. Or if it is leading to material loss, or you're the one who's investing rather than gaining, that it is an investment worth making and an experience worth having. If something comes through and you're doing the math and you're like, it's not just about doing the math though. It's not just about doing the math. What am I trying to say, and why am I feeling compelled to say it? And it's something I have not said before. On the other side of September now, and on the other side of the eclipses, I would encourage you to focus more on how September was a barometer for where it is that you need to go and what you need to create. But even more powerfully, and this I have said before, because we're in a 6-month cycle of the South Node eclipses, a new moon solar South Node eclipse on September 21st, followed by a full moon lunar eclipse South Node, it's lunar eclipse, on March the 3rd. Really look to what happened in September as a barometer of where you're at in your preparation and what you need to move towards releasing and how you need to go about doing that, so that you can actually move towards and create room for the direction you're trying to lean into. And releasing does not have to look like jumping off a cliff. Releasing can mean, even for those of you where something eclipsy happened in September, a job loss, a job offer, an ending of some kind, a need to move out of somewhere. It can still be a relatively gradual process. It could be that the eclipses, and I've said to you with the eclipses, I feel like God takes the wheel, or Spirit takes the wheel. If Spirit feels like you're stuck in something, or there's inertia, then Spirit can intervene with a lightning strike to say, you know what? I'm ending this for you now. Or I'm giving you something new so that we can disrupt you from something that is a massive energy leak. It's not just that you can work your way out of this gradually. The energy leak is so enormous that it is just not helpful for you to stay here. But that does not mean that with the energy leak that you just need to jump into creating the new when you don't have the resources for it. It could mean that if you were, let's say that you were working, let's say that you were working in a call center, and there was something about the environment there that was, it wasn't just the hours that were going there, it was the energy. It could mean that you decide that rather than working 40 hours in a call center now that you've been laid off, or that something happened and you left that job, or there was something Eclipsy that happened, that you join another call center for 20 hours or 5 hours a week. In that way, the Eclipses have still done their job. Now, if for some of you there's been a radical disruption, wonderful. But just know that if you take that offer that came to you with the Eclipses and you're moving forward and you're realizing, oh wow, I did this, and there's a massive sense of adventure around it, and it enhanced me. And there was, Eclipses have a tendency to kind of introduce things that just, oh my God, I've got to move it. It is important to pursue things in a Saturnian manner, to hold yourself accountable and hold things accountable. You can't hold yourself accountable and hold things accountable and create a security blanket around you so that you are not living, or life is just a drudgery because it's secure. You have to find the right mix for yourself, but sometimes that right mix, even for yourself, all of us need to dare to do this in our own way. He does have something in his knapsack. I would just say be careful with the Eclipses and the opportunities that they bring, that they don't lead to, oh my God, I'm in such a fix. I've seen the Eclipses do something like that to someone and then give them the resources to come back where they need to. When you have South Node Eclipses, there's every possibility or chance, as I've said to you before on this channel recently, that you may find yourself in the same place where you were before the Eclipses happened. And that the purpose of September was to say, this is what is possible for you. This is what you need to be open for. And if you take what I'm offering you, it's going to have a North Node-y, am I losing money? Why did I take this? This is not what it promised, blah, blah, blah. I think it very likely could be something that still enhances and develops you, no question. And it could be that the Eclipses on the other side of that experience go, oh, it was just me, the North Node, giving you a shortcut and hoping you would take it. But I'm realizing that we've got to get you where you were, because work still needs to be done to release what you need to in the Virgo part of the chart. The North Node Eclipses exercise their influence this year in Pisces, most of all between the week before and after July 7th and the week before and after September the 7th, where it is that you need to lean into. And after the middle of September, opportunities could have come up that were North Node-like. But I would hazard to say that it's very possible that they had this eclipsy flash. But the larger lesson, I think, in either things not materializing or things materializing in a way that they still feel like they're a roller coaster ride and you're going to get something from them, but they could still lead to you investing more, or material loss, or emotional insecurity, or when things need to happen, I find, that are right for us, all the doors open and it's a slam dunk. That doesn't mean that you get exactly what you want. If I'm offered $50,000 for a job and I feel like I should get $70,000 for it, but I negotiate and get $60,000, I'm not getting everything that I want. But if it still feels like it's the right thing for me and everything makes sense, everything adds up, I'm still able to get from A to Z as if the universe is cushioning me through it. When the things that have to happen that work out for you, there's an inevitability to them, and it's as if our hand doesn't even need to reach the doorknob. We move our hand towards the doorknob, we show up, and we just get pulled into it. There are no invisible or auric roadblocks. It doesn't feel like we're hitting a wall or walls, or things aren't making sense, or we're doing something and we get that gut feeling. Or the eclipses can introduce those kinds of opportunities, and you might think, oh my God, wouldn't it be great? I got this. This is what I'm waiting for. This is the disruption I'm looking for. This is what, for some of us, if we are in the right place, but open to the right things that we're to move towards, the eclipses can introduce opportunities that are more about giving us a heads up, particularly when the second eclipse is a south node new moon solar eclipse, as was in September, heading to a full moon lunar eclipse on March the 3rd. The eclipses can more be about delivering a message with regard to where we need to go, where we are, what we need to be more agile about, what we need to be more prepared towards, what we need to be in the process of releasing in the Virgo part of the chart. Whatever came through during September could be more of a harbinger than something that we were actually meant to take, particularly if there were things around it that were complicated and inconvenient significantly. Everything wasn't quite adding up. Now, some of us who are more adventurous could respond to something eclipsy and do the, I'm going to go explore this. And it could, if it's premature and it's that North Node shortcut, oh my God, I feel so alive, I'm getting on that plane. Know that if you get on that plane and get to the other side, you're really going to have to, once you land there, tap into that hero's journey energy and figure out what you're going to do from there. But because the second eclipse is a south node solar eclipse, you could find that you get something out of it, that you still are able to add something from that experience, develop from it, but it might not be. Whether you end up creating something new and are on your feet and building something where you've ended up as a result of the eclipses and the eclipsy disruption, or whether you end up taking something and then have to find your way back. I took that plane, but I actually have to head back because it was premature. Or whether it was something that didn't work out. Know that whether you are at the destination, have returned back to where you left from, or are still where you were, that the primary message of September was to alert you to where you are at in the process of being agile enough to move towards what it is that you need to and release what you need to. Because it is likelier that whatever it is that you need to release in the Virgo part of the chart, in the house occupied by Virgo in your chart, that there's going to be greater action and synergy towards that the week before and after January the 3rd and the week before and after March the 3rd, as you head to the lunar eclipse. And you have a lunar eclipse in Virgo, both on March the 3rd of 26 and then in February 27. This is meant to be a comforting message that is helping you make sense of September. And especially for those of you who felt like September was bringing something, there was a sense of imminence to it, and will I take this, and should I take this, but it didn't. And the larger question is not, it may well be, and you may be in a process where you're realizing, oh, it didn't work out for a reason. By the time you got to the end of September, the larger question was, if something were to come up, how would you, in future, how would you approach it, and how ready are you to take it? And what would need to be in place for you to take it? And where you're at right now so that you can release what you need to in order to take it. Are you agile enough? And as you head towards March the 3rd, what do you need to do to increase that agility? Increase that focus on what it is that you're trying to get to so that you can leave behind, or be in the process of leaving behind what you're trying to leave behind. I will leave it at that for now. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious about your thoughts about what I said. So feel free to leave me a comment and like this video. Likes and Comments also ways in which you can contribute to the channel. They give the video greater circulation on YouTube. I believe you can contribute to this channel monetarily by using the thanks button underneath this video or the donation information in the description box. 3 ways to engage with me: the free content I put out on this website, the $6.99 a month membership videos that are rising sign specific videos that I do. I am going to, starting tomorrow, get back on track with those. There's been a bit of a break, but the next one I'm doing is for Leo rising. I think the second set of rising sign videos, I've done 5 of them. Leo rising will be the 6th, and I'll keep moving forward. So there are rising sign specific videos in the membership part of the channel that you can check out that are more specific to each rising sign. You can see them for your sun or moon, but it's meant for your rising. And the third way, of course, is if you want a personal reading with me, my email address is in the description box below. You can email me there. I can let you know what it is that I offer. There's a hype button underneath this video. I don't really understand it, but it does seem to work in hype videos, so you're welcome to, if you know what you're doing there, go ahead and hype this video or any other one of my videos that you really feel deserves to be hyped. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, there's a bell icon next to the subscribe button. You can hit that bell icon and click the wiggling bell on top, and you'll be notified whenever I do new videos. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you found this intriguing and something to think about, and let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Take care. I'm going to, the next video I'm going to do probably on Saturday. That's the free video, is going to be about Venus opposing Neptune and the transits for next week. I think I'm going to do the weekly overview. I typically do it Sunday, Monday. I think I'm going to do it on Saturday, and we can talk a little bit more about Venus opposing Saturn. Here's something I want to say about Venus opposing Saturn and Neptune that I want to leave you with. Remember what I said in the last week. I've already done a video on Venus opposing Saturn a few days ago. Take a look at that video because I think you'll find it relevant. The larger message may be to operate in a Venusian way to support what Saturn is trying to get you to clean up in the Pisces part of the chart. So yes, there could be a drain or a reckoning, or it is time to pay up financially or relationship-wise towards some obligation or towards some accountability related to cleaning up the house occupied by Pisces in your chart with whatever crisis has been brewing since 2012 and reached a peak in 14, 15, and especially 16, 17, that Saturn has been trying to stabilize since March 23. A lot of people I talk to feel like that stabilization energy really took hold in 2024 and 2025. It continues till February 26. So when you have a faster moving planet like Venus opposing a slower moving planet, the faster moving planet in that tug of war, in that opposition, is going to lose to the slower moving planet. And it's better to think about the slow moving planet saying, hey, before you cross my threshold, I need something from you. Venus is a planet that helps build bridges and helps build relationships and create healing in relationships and greater workability and harmony. So that might be, as this week it progresses and even into next week, an opportunity to tap into the Venusian archetype of moving towards a handshake that actually contributes to you cleaning something up or setting boundaries, strangely enough, in the Pisces part of the chart. I'm going to leave that for you for now. I think it's quite important. And then I'll build on that when we talk about Venus opposing Neptune on Saturday. Okay, I'll leave it. Thanks. Take care.